how people build and create a strong relationship in one another. No wonder, but because of communication. First, let me define what communication is. Communication is the sending and receiving of information and can be one-on-one or between groups of people and can be face-to-face or through communication devices. Now you know what's the definition of communication. But have you ever wondered how the people in the past century, decades, and generations communicate? How communication have been done before? And how does communication evolve? Let's have some brief discussion about it. The most well-known form of primitive communication is cave paintings, were also the oldest methods of communicating. They were used to mark territories. Major events were also recorded through these paintings. They are usually found on the walls and ceilings of caves. Around 30,000 BC, Chauvet Cave in France was made. It was the oldest cave painting, while South Sulawesi in Indonesia and Koliboaya Cave in Romania has the earliest cave paintings. Different signs and symbols were used to deliver messages. Rock carvings were introduced in 10,000 BC. These rock paintings drew pictures to convey stories. Later on, graphic symbols were used to present ideas or concepts. Chinese created characters for communication as well. Alphabets were created at the last. Evolution of communication was easier after the alphabet. Smoke signals were also used for communicating. They were mostly used in China. Chinese guards release smoke into the air. Smoke is depicted as a message to the Great Wall of China. A famous Greek historian, Polybius, used smoke signals to represent the alphabet. Pigeons are known well for their directions. They carried essential messages and helped in evolution of communication. Pigeons were also used by ancient Romans to tell owners how their entries had been placed. With raising awareness, people started to use courier services. Letters were delivered from one person to another through postal services. These systems were organized in India, China, Persia, and Rome. A Frenchman, De Valliere, started a postal system in 1653. The use of mailboxes and delivery of letters was done through the system. However, it was an inefficient means of communicating as one had to wait until another person was traveling before their letter could be sent. In addition, there was no guarantee when or if the letter would ever reach its destination. Newspapers are still a wide form of communication use. Every other house has a newspaper delivery every day. These papers deliver written news and also other important national events taking place. The first printing press system was introduced in around 1440 by German Johannes Gutenberg. The newspaper started to get more attention and changed communication forever. With the advent of print media, radios were introduced after that. Radios are a source of news as well as entertainment for people. Amateur broadcasting began around 1914. Commercial broadcasting didn't hit the airwaves until 1920. Radio was unregulated until 1925 when the Federal Communications Commission stepped in. Radios were incredibly popular during the late 1920s and 1930s due to the Great Depression and also the flapper movement. The first electrical communication system to send text messages was called telegraph. Sending letters required energy and patience to wait for a reply. Telegraphs were introduced to send text messages more quickly than written messages. It helped in sending information across country. The first telephone was introduced by Alexander Graham Bell in 1876. Within 50 years of its invention, telephones became an essential part of every household and office. The devices transmitted human audio into signals. These signals were transmitted through wires. Landline telephone services began in 1900s. People could talk on calls for hours through long distances. It was the most reliable form of the communication system. Mobile phones were introduced in 1973 and the mode of communication was changed entirely. Even today, televisions are a great source of entertainment. They are a mode of indirect communication to the larger audience. The early televisions displayed black and white pictures after the World War II, but with the advancement, colors were added to the screen. Today, there are several features in televisions that provide us more entertainment and information. The world of the web has brought people closer. Tim Berners-Lee invented the World Wide Web in 1990. Satellites support the internet. Through the internet, we can search for anything, anywhere in the whole world. Wireless connection via Wi-Fi began in 1991. Since then, people seem to be addicted to the internet. Nowadays, every small activity of our lives, business and education, involves the use of internet. We highly depend upon the internet for our development as a nation as well as a generation. Microsoft Business Email is the most formal way of communication used in offices. John Vitale, in 1975, developed a software to support mails. From that invention, many mailing platforms have been created. Emails are better for record keeping and cost saving. Various network providers are used for sending text messages. The first text message was sent by Neil Paporti, an engineer in 1992. From that day to now, text messaging has been a game of few minutes. With advanced internet, online messaging apps have been introduced. These applications help connect people, their shared texts through the internet. People share their entire life events on social media. Social media platforms help people share their pictures, videos, and almost everything on the internet. It is the latest mode of communication in the digital world. Social media has revolutionized the way we communicate. Communication has been made a lot easier. Distance is not an issue anymore. Better communication has helped us gain better social skills. Now, I am done on discussing how communication changed through ages. And I come up on the realization that the mode of communication nowadays are more efficient than before. We human beings should empower each and everyone through communication.